Now, a year ago, David Bowie was the biggest and best guest we'd had on. Since then, the show has gone from strength to strength. We've had some megastars on the show, and yet a year later, you are still the biggest and the best guest we've had on the show, which is why it's a great honour to have you back. How are you?
Cool, blimey, Ben. I'm very happy to be here.
Good to see you. You're looking very well.
Yeah.
It's been exactly a year since we last saw you, and
to the day?
Well, pretty much to the month, certainly.
Well,
so a lot has happened. Obviously, we're 12 months on, and we've got a brand new album.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about reality a little bit later on, because the last time we were together, we were talking about Heathen, and now 12 months later, reality is exactly that. How quickly after the release of Heathen did you start writing and recording this new CD?
We went on a mini tour, European mainly, but some American gigs too. And I guess we folded that in about December of last year. And at that point, I started writing fairly seriously for the reality album. So we really had made a pretty good start by the beginning of this year.
Now, for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, reality has a more rockier sound. It's very similar to albums like Scary Monsters, to the certainly more melodic sound of Heathen. Would you agree, and was that the intention, to make this more a rockier album?
I certainly wrote it with the stage band in mind. I wanted it to kind of reflect how our gigs have been going. I think we've gotten to a good plateau at the moment. We're playing really fine as a band. I just wanted something that to just kind of show them off a bit, because they're really good. And also, I wrote it from the perspective of New York, living in New York, which is where I kind of reside and have been for the last 10 years with my family. And I guess it has an awful lot of the energy of where I live.
Now, last night we did this special gig at the secret location, which we can now say is here at the old TFI Friday Studios, the Riverside Studios in London.
It is,
it was awesome. You played all the tracks pretty much, I think, in order.
But, yeah, we just played the album in order. It was terrifying.
Was it? Were you nervous? Did you still get nervous?
Yeah, well, we've done 5 of the songs before live in a small club up in New York a couple of months ago, just to see how it was sort of feeling out. But not doing the entire album like that. That's the first run. And knowing it was sort of broadcasting to all those cinemas.
68 cinemas.
Yeah, 68. That was,
you got it around the wrong way, but, you know, you said
I never know. It's all Sony anyway. And now, it was really excruciating.
So seriously, you still get nervous? Because there were a lot of people watching.
Yeah, I care for these songs an awful lot, you know, and I wanted so much for us to get them right. I was confident of the band, it was me, because I always screw things up when the things are new to me.
No, you didn't screw them last time.
It came off very well indeed.
Because it is an album that is, you know, really there to be played live. The band love playing it live. I can tell, you know, you love playing it live as well. I guess when you wrote it, that was always the intention.
It was the intention, yeah.
Hence the world tour, which is coming up. How the hell do you prepare yourself for that mammoth?
Learn the songs properly.
Well,
I mean, funnily enough, it's the better-known songs that I can't remember.
This album is going to be supported by the huge world tour. Is that because, you know, this music deserves the full arena tour? Because you're going to be playing to some big venues that you haven't played that scale
many years,
for quite some time.
Yeah. I'd like to do a world tour every 10 years.
Just something to do.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, it's. I seem to do them in the big tours. Seem to come in 10-year spurts, really.
Now,
so I've only got 4 left. That means.
Yeah. On the last album, Dave Grohl, Pete Townsend featured on Heathen. Are there any guests on this new album, or is it just you and the band?
No, not really. I mean, there's a couple of lads that we work with on Heathen who made reappearances, but they're kind of quietly part of our working group. And David Torn, the guitar player, was one of them. And the other one is Matt Chamberlain. They kind of work quietly in the background. Tony Visconti's playing quite a bit on this one.
Now, he mixed last night, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right, he did. He was out in the truck. He did a 5.1 mix.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that means. A 5.1 surround sound. Well, all I know is it sounded good.
It is a surround sound, yeah. You got 5 speakers, and they're all around you. And it just gives you a real sense that you're in the venue itself.
I think it's fair to say that you are the kind of musician who likes to make concept albums, and you have certainly done that in the past. Is Reality a concept album, and if so, what was the aim behind it?
No, it wasn't. The only concept is that it was all done in a couple of months, but everything else about it was Really just about a collection of songs.
We heard New Killer Star, and I've heard tracks on the album like Full Dogs, and a lot of the press I've read has said, is David Bowie making a political statement with Reality? Are you?
I didn't think so, but looking back on it, I certainly seem to have my fears on my sleeve, lyrically in the album. I really just wrote from the perspective of someone who lives in New York, and I think it's hard to dodge the fact that there's an awful lot of stress and anxiety in that city at the moment. And I guess some of that sort of comes out in the way you write, if you're writing from that environmental perspective.
Now, Reality does follow on very quickly from Heathen, and yet again, we mentioned this guy earlier on, you are working with a man who has been your key collaborator since The Man Who Sold the World. The chemistry between you and Tony Visconti, is it still as creative as it always has been?
It's remarkable. I guess it's just best for us to not really analyse why things work so well for us in the studio, but it does seem that every time we go in the studio we come up with something worthwhile. It's never wasted time working with Tony.
And he's yet again delivered the goods for you. I mean,
It's terrific, yeah.
And when they cut to him last night in the balcony, he was a bit shy to be on camera, but you seem to be not only great, working partners, but also great buddies as well. That
we
must be
have been
important in the studio.
We've been friends since 1967. Yeah, it's a long time.
But you must have your ups and downs,
absolutely,
with the creative process.
Yeah, there was a period where we just didn't work together. We didn't even see each other. In fact, our lives changed so dramatically during the 80s. And we really virtually never saw each other at all, and various marriages happened and moved continents and all kinds of things. And then about the early to mid-90s, we got back together again, and I think our friendship was re-cemented at that point.
The last time I met you, you were very reluctant to commit to a large world tour. You were keen to do it.
Yeah.
But as a daddy to a little baby girl, you didn't really want to take the family on the road for a large period of time.
Yeah. Well, I still won't. I mean, they'll come out with us here and there. But it's, I don't think, too much travelling for a child that age is not particularly a good thing. But there are certain places that she'll be able to come where it'll be fun for her as well. And that'll be good. I think Australia, that area should be good.
And prior to the announcement of these tours, did you sit down with Iman and have a chat about the
we talked this through quite some time ago, actually. The other aspect of it is that there's going to be a point when my daughter's going to be in school full-time, properly. And that would be really hard to wrench her out of that. Take her.
So do the tour now?
Kind of, yeah, right now rather than later.
As an artist during the 1980s, the Tin Machine period, you decided to retire a lot
That was the 90s, yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s, early 90s.
You decided to retire a lot of the back catalogue, though. You didn't like to play it too much live. You now seem to be a lot more at ease with your own back catalogue. You played a great set of it last night towards the end of the show. Are fans likely to hear these songs on the Reality World Tour, or is it purely new material?
No, it's. I hope it's a pretty good mix. I think I would say about a third are very well-known songs, and the other 2/3 are newer and more obscure songs. I'm taking stuff from both Reality and Heathen, and a whole bunch of stuff from the 90s as well. So it should be, I think, overall, a very satisfying show for my
and you're
my
conscious
audience anyway.
of what the fans obviously. They come to hear the new material, but they also want to have the...
I'm aware that there are certain songs that the larger audiences are going to expect. That's a bit different. But I got to say, the majority of the show is made up of stuff that we enjoy playing as a band. And we just presume and hope that the audience enjoy it as much as we do.
Because you like it quite simple on stage. I mean, I've seen you a couple of times. I saw it at the Astoria.
Yeah.
Last night, obviously, you, couple of lights, the band, dead simple. Is that what we can see for the stadium and arena tour?
It really is. I've got some video stuff so that it's cool for the people in the very, very back seats, so they can see us a bit closer and all that. I'm very comfortable in this situation of just doing it in a very simple way and just hoping the music itself really is the priority of the whole situation.
It's been an honour to see you.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Ben.
with the world tour. And next time you come back to the UK to play these dates...
With the next album,
Yeah, we should probably be, like you said, 5 weeks
About
time.
5 weeks' time.